Give me a little bit. I want to check out what the things that pop up on my screen say here. New managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and can change chat modes in live. Well, I don't even have any moderators, so we're not going to worry about that right now, YouTube, but thank you for the heads up. What's going on, guys? My name is Matty Jablonsky. Welcome to the Point of Change. I don't know if YouTube here saves live videos or not. I don't know what the rules are over here. I know each platform has different rules on going live, on what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say, what people can say in the comments, what they can't say. I know all this censorship crap is everywhere. So I'm going to try and tiptoe through the tulips up here so I don't get in trouble on the first frickin' live, bro. But come on in, hang out with me, do all the things you're supposed to do on your end. If you would, I'd appreciate it. If there's likes and loves and comments and follows and all that stuff, go ahead and throw them up there. What's up? What's going on? Good to see ya. How's your Friday going? How'd your week treat you? Oh, I got events coming up. Things are going on. I am recently moved over here to YouTube. I have been on Facebook for over 8 years now, and I did a little bit of work here on YouTube. I used to simulcast to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Good. Thanks, good. Oh, man, is that Brian O'Brien? What's up, Thomas Heath? How you doing? I got to get used to the names on the different platforms. It's a little different because, you know, Facebook, everybody uses their full freaking legal name. And then you come over here to YouTube and over on TikTok and people use Crazy Noodle 86. So you never know who anybody is. Oh, it's Nick. What's going on, man? Thanks, good. That's funny. Brian O'Brien is usually the one who drops that on me. Oh, good to see you, bro. How's everything going out there? Been a minute. I'm working on a presentation for here in Whitewater. Let me straighten my mouth out for a second. They have a storytelling festival here in Whitewater every year, and I want to be a part of that very badly. But every year, as soon as they open up for, you know, the speakers, the actual people who are going to be sharing their story, I miss out. I've missed out. Well, 2 years in a row now because I'd only found out about it last year. But I missed out last year. I missed out this year. But this year they added workshops to it. So it's not only speakers inside the building. They're going to have workshops going on. So I get to host a workshop at the Storytelling Festival. Originally, my idea was to do like a pain to poetry class, right? Like how to turn your pain and the crap you've gone through in your life, how to write poetry about that. And I think that would be an awesome class. But I just found out that this event has really low rate turnaround rate right now, or attendance rate, I should say. So they're trying to look for things that are going to go right up Main Street. You know, they're trying to find a way to draw a crowd in. And I know that my story can draw a crowd in. So now I'm leaning a little more towards doing a workshop at a storytelling festival about telling your story and how the importance of the value in your story and how sharing your story not only helps you heal, but it helps the people that hear your story as well. So I think that's the avenue I'm going to approach on it. I'm writing some things up, doing some rough drafts today. So that's my project for this morning. What's up? I am Perry. Who's Perry? Caitlin Brady. Caitlin Brady 424. What's going on? I'm never going to remember the names, guys, especially if you get a different username than your actual name, and then I have to try and remember that username is attached to this other name, and you're going to lose me. You're going to lose me. So, but thank you for coming here. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate the viewership. What's going on, guys? Got some people coming in. Let me know where you're watching from, where you're tuning in, if you're going to stick around. If not, we'll catch you next time, right? What's up? Good morning. Friday. So yeah, right now I have 2 speaking engagements in the books. I have more in the works, but as of right now on the actual calendar, we have March 28th at the end of this month. I'm going up to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I'm going to be doing a comedy spot at a benefit for a friend of mine's daughter who has melanoma. They're doing a benefit, and they would like me to come up and do some jokes about the Northwoods and kind of keep the mood light and stuff like that. So, middle of the day, benefit for a young girl with melanoma. It's gonna be. That sounds like I got the cards stacked against me, doesn't it? To try and go in there and make some jokes. But I think I can pull it off. I think I can keep it lighthearted and fun, and we're going to do some cool stuff, and I think it's going to be great. I already got my bit written up. I'm going to practice it a few times before then, get the timing down a little bit, try to memorize the order of the jokes that I'm going to be telling. Can't guarantee that I'm not going to need note cards up there, though. That's a very good possibility that I'm going to have a cheat sheet and remind me of what jokes I'm telling when, because I might get a little distracted. You guys know me. I'm all over the place, right? Or I should say some of you guys know me. Most of you do not. What's up, Thomas? LOL, you be okay. Yeah, for sure. I'll be okay. Doing deliveries in Florida. Oh, man. You're lucky to be down there today. It is freaking windy. 36 degrees out there. I was supposed to go help my best friend do siding on his house this morning, but I woke up, I went outside, and I was like, nope, this is a whole bucket of nope. I ain't doing this. So I texted him right away and was like, dude, I do not feel like being out working in this, so I'm sorry, but I'm not coming. So I didn't go. So here I am hanging out with you guys instead. I had a lot of stuff to get ready, and I got a lot on my mind these days with everything I'm shifting into and pushing forward with. It's a little daunting. It's a little daunting. Even this having 2 new social media pages to try and keep up with here on YouTube and over on TikTok has been it's been a juggle for me. So I'm going to have to come up with a schedule for my social media creation. Not so much the creation, because my creativity kind of comes and goes and free flows. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to put a time limit on my creativity. Sometimes I will literally just be like, no, go up in that office, sit down, and you write something, or you make a video, or you do something, and I'll like force myself to do it. But most of the time when I do that, it doesn't come out the best. You know, that's not my best creativity. My creativity usually comes in just a wave, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a good line for a poem, and I just write out a poem. So I don't really want to schedule my creativity time, but I do want to schedule the times for like checking my Facebook, checking the what's going on, responding to comments, getting into all that. So we'll figure that out as we go. It's going to be we're in a learning curve. I'm sure the next few months of my life are going to be kind of freaking scattered, man. Stepping away from current job, going back to a part-time campground gig on first shift outside. Well, not first shift. I'm midday shift. I'm going to come in at noon and I'll work till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. That's going to be my shift at the campground. I get to be the guy that fills your propane tank when you show up after the shop is closed. That's my gig for the summer. I really love working at the campground. It brings it's a weird joy for me. That right there specifically, filling propane tanks, when somebody's trying to make burgers and their propane tank goes empty, and you got a father of 3 coming up who's supposed to be having this awesome camping weekend, and here he's running out of propane while he's making dinner, and he brings it up, and you're the guy that gets to fill that propane tank and bring it back down to his campsite for him. There's something really rewarding about that. I can't explain it. But I love that I work at a place that people go for vacations. They're there for their weekend. You know, they're there to spend time with their family and have a good time. And I, in a way, get to facilitate that. I mean, I'm maintenance crew, but I mean, especially if something's wrong at your site, you get there and the fire pit sucks, or there's no picnic table, or whatever, or you run over the water spigot and now we got a water geyser. I like being the guy that gets to show up and fix everything and make sure that your weekend's going to be awesome. You know, it's a very rewarding gig, that's for sure. And then on top of that, taking on doing stand-up comedy, I also get this new job of making people laugh. And that's going to be freaking awesome. I'm so happy with the what I've written up for this benefit right now. Last night, Caitlin and I sat down and I kind of went over, because I don't want to do the whole bit or anything in front of people. Are the cameras in the bathroom working? Yes. Why, yes, they are. I checked them this morning. The cameras in your bathroom are working anyways. Thank you for the content. I will be posting that later. You threw me off, you son of a bitch. Okay, so I had my bit written up, but I realized when I was going over it in my head that I did it backwards. I should have had, like, I got 3 to 6 jokes there that could have been flip-flopped, and it would have been, and it was way funnier. So last night, without telling her I was testing it on her, I dropped some of the jokes in conversation with my wife, and they hit wonderfully. She's a wonderful gauge of if people are going to laugh at my jokes or not. If I can get her to laugh, I can get anybody to laugh. So I got her to laugh, so I'm like, yes. Perfect. That's exactly the reaction I needed. That let me know that joke's gonna frickin' land, bro. I'm pumped. I can't wait to go up there. Plus, I got a few followers who I've never met who are gonna be there, and some of my friends from that part of the world are gonna be there too. So, gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited. I love that, like, growing up in the Northwoods, tiny little town, I was like the class clown. I was always the person that made people laugh. I'm so happy that I have a lot of my real friends from like childhood that follow me on social media, because like I've made them laugh for like 30 freaking years. You know, that's kind of cool. Atmosphere Airlines, you're a great soul, man. Keep up. I'm sober myself. 6 months. 6 months. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. I love hearing that kind of stuff. Keep it up. It gets way better. I don't know what your path of recovery is. There are many different paths. It seems like the most common one is the 12 steps. I didn't go the 12-step route. I'm not 100% clean and sober. I use cannabis, but that was my drug of choice was methamphetamine. So cannabis was a wonderful exit drug for that. But whatever route you're taking, just keep it up, because I've been doing this for 9 years, and I can tell you the only thing that matters in recovery is that you're actually doing it. Like, it doesn't matter which way you take, which path you take. It doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't. All that matters is that you're actually sticking to it, and you got like boundaries set. You're sticking with your boundaries. You're sticking in your lane. You're learning shit. You're developing. You're opening your mind to the possibility that you're fucked up. You know, like, am I allowed to say that over here on YouTube? I don't know. What am I allowed to say? Don't edit. Don't silence my video, YouTube. Please don't silence my video. But anyways, yeah, we're all a little fucked up in the head. And the sooner we can admit that we're a little fucked up in the head and we can actually start implementing things and doing things to change the fucked upness or to learn how to not be fucked up, the better off you're going to be. So that's awesome, man. Keep up the work on 6 months. Keep it going. It gets way better. It gets shittier, and then it gets better. For me, meth was my drug of choice, right? So, we got sirens going by. Godspeed, gentlemen. For me, stepping away from meth was a whole freaking process of moving 4.5 hours away, going through counseling. I was on probation for like 1.5 years there, living on my best friend's couch for over a year. He wasn't my best friend when I first moved down here. He was an old buddy from high school. We'd hung out a few times since then. I can more than a few times. He was always really good about keeping contact. And so he's always, anytime he was up, he would usually hit me up. So we hung out quite a few times over the years after high school. But when I ended up getting out of jail for the millionth time, dude, and so many times I'd go to jail and I'd get out and I'd have like messages from him on Facebook or whatever, or emails or some way he'd reach out and like, hey man, you done fucking up yet? Because he used to be a fuck around, but then he had a kid and he moved away and straightened himself out. So we still had that tie where like me and him used to fuck around together, So for him to continuously check in on me over the years, and he never did like the 12 steps or any of that kind of stuff. It was just a graduated out of his addiction or matured out of his addiction. He just stepped away from the shit, didn't do it anymore, and became a dad. So for him to have kept in contact with me all those years was pretty awesome. And then that last time I got out of jail and I had that same message from him, hey man, are you done stealing shit? Like, come on, straighten yourself out. If you ever want to take a shot at it, you can come down here. You can stay on my couch. And this time I was like, you know what? I might take you up on that. I'll think about it, And in the past, it had always been, nah, man, I can't do that. I got to be here for my dad, or I got a new job, or I got a new girlfriend, or I got whatever, And I'd make an excuse and I'd stay up there. But this time, like, shit, there was no excuse anymore. Like, after that last fuck up, after the last few fuck ups there, I can't say that last fuck up. It was like the last 2 years of my 13-year addiction were like rough as fuck. I was no longer able to hide the fact that I was a criminal. Everybody knew. I was in a small town area, so everybody knew. Family at all knew. Everything was fucked. Everything was fucked. So I didn't really have an option of lying to him this time. And so I just said I might take you up on that. And then I went back home, and then that's when I kind of found out everything that had happened while I was in jail. Like, the run-of-the-mill stuff that happens when you go to jail. Your girlfriend's cheating on you. Your friends show up and steal all your shit like you're freaking dead or something, dude. They just take it. Like I'm not gonna get out of jail, Like he's gone for 97 days. In a meth addict's mind, 97 days is an eternity, dude. That's forever. We don't have to worry about that for 3 months. What? That's not right now. Like, let's not worry about it. Let's just steal all his shit, right? So I had friends of mine that came to my house. I lived with my dad, so to my dad's house, and they just told him, hey, we left some stuff here. Can we get it? And dad was like, yeah, of course, no problem, because he's a trustworthy, good man. And they went in my room and just took all my shit, dude. He said they were leaving with boxes of stuff. I was like, oh shit, Dad. But whatever. What was he gonna do? Try and stop some meth addicts from stealing my shit? That's not his responsibility. The fact that we're fucked up is why we're friends. Yes, the fact that we're all here shows that we're not all there. You know what I mean? So that time once I found out everything that had happened, and not even everything, I still found out later, found out more shit was going on later. But once I found out the mass of what had happened while I was in jail, I broke. I was going to go get high right then and there, but when I grabbed the phone, one of those like out of a movie moments, where you have the phone in your hand, you can call the dealer right now, and for whatever reason, something in me was like, call Ryan. And so I called my buddy that was always like, you can come stay with me if you want. And I hit him up instead of hitting up the dope man. And that was a phone call that changed my life. Broke down to him, told him, fuck, dude, girl's been cheating on me. Everybody stole all my shit. I'm fucked. Like, I'm going to go get fucking high, dude. Please help me, save me. And he was like, give me 5 minutes, bro. And we got off the phone, and 5 minutes later, he called me back. I was like, dude, I just took the rest of the day off of work. I'm coming to get you. Like, can your dad bring you halfway? He said, can you guys meet me somewhere? And I was like, dude, I didn't want to ask my dad shit, because like, here I've been living under your roof for years, and I've been telling you the whole time I'm doing good, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and the whole time I've been in and out of jail, but now I've been like, I was in jail, and facing felony charges, possibly going to prison, like all of that. And so I didn't want to ask him for nothing, but hey, we're in recovery now. This is what we do. We ask for help, right? So I turned to Dad and was like, hey, Ryan kind of wants me to come down and try it out living by him. Would you be willing to drive me and meet him halfway? And Dad was like, yes, and like jumped out of his chair, like happier than I'd seen him in forever. He's like, yes, we can go right now. Let's go. Get your shit, pack a bag. I'll take you. Where does he want us to meet him? Has he left yet? Is he on the road? What are we doing? Put together like the most haphazard box of freaking food, and I threw together a duffel bag of clothes and we hit the road. And 2 hours later, I was meeting up with my best friend at a gas station. I weighed probably 100 pounds soaking wet. I had one tooth in the front of my face. Oh man, that was a rough day. Ryan later told me that he had a hard time sleeping that night because he was worried I was just going to steal all his shit and fucking leave in the middle of the night. Because before he picked me up, he hadn't seen me in a couple of years. And then over that last couple of years of my addiction was the tail end of my addiction was hell, right? Teeth falling out the whole nine. So he didn't know I was missing most of my teeth. He didn't know I was that skinny. He didn't know any of that. And then after seeing me at that gas station with me barely able to carry my duffel bag and shit, he was really worried that what the fuck did I just sign up for, dude? But I respected Ryan enough and was thankful enough. I didn't want to let him down. Ryan, especially once he did that, it was kind of like he was like this big brother figure, almost a father figure in my life. He took on that role, you know? And so I came down here and I really tried to fuck it up. Like a lot. I really tried to fuck it up, dude. It is only by the grace of God that I'm here, man. There was a path made for me somewhere along the line. I didn't believe in God in the beginning either, so for him to like be walking with me back then is kind of crazy. But we got down here and my plan was I was going to go around and pick up a bunch of applications from all the jobs, bring them back to his house, and then maybe I'd fill them out to make it look like I was doing that. But then I wasn't going to take them back in. You know, I was going to make it look like I was trying, man. But then I was going to, oops, look, I couldn't find a job. Oops, it all fucked up. I guess it's not my fault that I couldn't get a job. I tried. You guys seen me filling out the applications and stuff. I really tried, but guess I gotta go back and do more math. So that was my plan. So Ryan took me to go put in applications, and we were going around to collect the applications. I told him I was going to get a stack of them, bring them back to his house, and that I would fill them out at home. We had come up with a fake work history for me because I was such a piece of shit for so long that my work history was shot. So me and Ryan sat down and we called some old buddies and we were like, hey man, Matty's trying to get right, blah, blah, blah. We need to make a work history for him. Is it cool if we say he worked for your concrete company for 2 years? Dude was like, yeah, you can tell him that. That's no problem. So we made up this whole fake work history for me. But that was back at Ryan's house because I was going to go get the applications, bring them back, fill them out with my little cheat sheet there, and then, pretend to take them back. So we go out to get the applications and we go to one of the factories over here. We collected a couple paper applications. This was 2017 before everything went to apply online, There was still paper applications back then. But we got a couple of them, and then we went to this one of the big, factories that everybody works at around here. And I walk in the lobby and I'm like, yeah, I'm here to get an application. And she's like, we're doing walk-in interviews today. Fill out an application and you get an interview on the spot. And I was like, instantly panic, backpedal, everything in me kicks in. And I'm like, I don't have, what did I do? I was like, I don't have time. I'm going to take it with me. I'll bring it back tomorrow. And she's like, you can't take it with you. The applications are on our kiosks right here in the lobby. You have to fill it out on one of those computers over there. And I'm like, oh my God, more panic. I'm trying to fuck this up. Okay, lady, trying to fuck this up. I'm like, I don't have my information with me. I don't have nothing. I don't know my work history or nothing. She's like, just fill it out the best you can, honey. We'll get you an interview. Just do the best you can. I was like, okay. So I go over and I sit down at this computer, and crazy enough, when you're sitting there and you don't have your cheat sheet of all the lies you've made up, the only thing that comes to your mind is the truth. So I was like, well, I guess if I'm trying to not get this job, I'll fill this out with the truth and that'll work, right? So I filled it out with the truth, the best I could remember of the 2 weeks I worked at this place and the one day I worked at this place. And giant gaps in my employment. And I'm like, do you have any felony charges? Yes. Do you have any pending felony charges? Yes. Like, got this thing filled out like the criminal that I truly was, and I hand it in, and the dude comes out to get me for my interview, and I went back. I still put my best foot forward. Still, I didn't go back there just, yo, what up, bro? But I still, did my thing. And at the end of it, he's like, you know what, Matt? I think we're going to give you a shot. You look like the kind of guy that needs a second chance, he said. I was like, all right. So I got the freaking job. So my plan of trying to self-sabotage didn't work out. Ryan bought me a pair of work boots, and I started, I think, the Wednesday of the next week, I started my orientation and shit. So that really was a big saving grace on it all, on me staying down here, was that I landed that job. And then there was this, like, Ryan was so happy and encouraging for me and like wanted to see me win. And there was this, I don't want to let him down, like, feeling that I got. And I'm so thankful that we created that bond early on in those days, and that I had the bond with him from before that and everything, that just made me not want to let him down. I'm glad that I had that. So I kept pushing forward. The first year of my recovery was, I don't want to call it stagnant time, because I was doing counseling. I was doing therapy. I did group counseling and therapy. And group counseling was once a week. Therapy was once every 2 weeks. And then I had my probation, and I did really good on probation. And my probation officer was like the biggest flake ever, which was crazy. Because when I was a drug addict, my probation officer was by the books, man. And I was in jail constantly, and it was terrible, right? Could not get one over on her to save my life. Then I moved down here, and I start doing good, and my probation officer was the flakiest bitch I've ever met in my life, dude. I'd show up at the probation officer, and they're like, oh, she didn't know she had anybody today. She's not here. We called her. She's getting out of bed. She'll be here in a little bit. And then there was times when she was supposed to do home visits, and I'd be sitting there waiting, and she's not there. So I call her, hey, are we still on for today? And she, oh my God, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh my God. Is this what probation is supposed to be? Like, we're going to assign you to this like flaky woman. You're supposed to keep her on task. Like, this is my punishment. I got to make sure this crazy woman shows up for all the dates she's supposed to be at. But bless her soul, though. Bless her soul, because even though she was flaky, she gave me assignments, she gave me worksheets, she gave me homework. She really pushed me on the mental health stuff, not just the, hey, bring this list of put in applications and bring this list back. Like, actually would give me a freaking pamphlet, that talked about just all kinds of mental health stuff and defeating self-characteristics and things like that. And I would take them home, and I would do the best I could. And actually, it really helped me dig through my past to freaking, because you're archaeologist, right? And you're digging up all this crap from your past and all this crap in your head that you created over the years, and all this stuff that's been stuffed away from your childhood, and all this shit that you got to deal with when you come out of a 13-year meth addiction, right? Because you've just been not dealing with shit, zero responsibilities, not doing nothing for over a decade. Now you got a lot of shit to deal with. So to have those worksheets and these pamphlets and things that kind of explained and like talked you through, like, here, lay out a situation where it could have went like this. Well, how could you have handled that better? What would have been the turnout if you had handled it better? And it sounds so cliche, and it sounds like, oh my God, what are we in freaking kindergarten here? But I was like, dude, we're doing this now. So I like put my best foot forward, and actually was super freaking to help me dig through my past, dig through my brain and the psychology of what happened to me, because I was left with this huge freaking question in my head of like, what freaking happened to me, dude? Like, what was that about? I was a good kid. Like, I was a really good kid. If you talk to my parents, they're like, they did not see this coming at all. Really good kid until about 17 years old. And all of a sudden, rebel arc kicked in, and I did not want to conform to anything anymore and did not want to do anything that you guys want to do, man. And then I started dabbling with drugs, and it was a quick downfall to meth and to barely holding on to my life, man. Well, I can't even say it was a quick downfall. It was kind of, in the beginning, I was kind of dabbling with it. But then, over the 13 years that I was doing it, it started to become, it went from like, oh, I'll dabble with it when it comes around to I'm doing it every single day. And then once I'm doing it every single day kicked in, then it was a quick downfall to losing my apartment and moving back in with my dad and then couch hopping forever and just, it was just nonsense is all it was. Let's see. Good. Getting some laughs out of people. Good. Man, this is going to sound off, but that story really hit me with you and you're really inspiring. I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. The egg cracked a little bit before this too, while I was in jail for that last time anyways. I went to jail so many times, but that last time, I didn't stick with the 12 steps. I'm Cali sober these days, or I say I'm Cali sober, but the long terminology would be that I have achieved a successful recovery through harm reduction, and I now live a life of moderation. That would be like the appropriate terminology for my recovery, but I usually just say I'm Cali sober because you guys know that means, hey, he smokes pot. So that's, that's where I go with it. And I usually like to put that out on Front Street because some people don't like it, and that way you know where I am, I know where you are. But this has worked for me for 9 years, and along the way, a lot of people have told me I'm doing it wrong, and some of those people aren't here anymore. Some of them went back out, some of them have died, and I really freaking miss the one guy. He told me I was doing it wrong, but like we were still buddies. Like he just did not agree with my path of recovery. And he was always telling me, you're running a risk, man. You're running a risk the way you're living your life, bro. And then he decided one night that he was going to go get heroin, and he died. And damn, recovery gets dark sometimes, don't it? But anyways, missed that guy. What was I saying? Oh yeah, while I was in jail and the recovery egg started to crack there. I went to some 12-step meetings. Not 12-step meetings. They were hosted by a guy who ran the NA chapter in the area of my jail. But they weren't like a official NA meeting. It was just this guy from the NA meeting would come into the jail once a week and do like a drug group support thing. And really down to earth, cool guy, like had his wits about him and everything. And but he didn't do like the whole formal readings and all that stuff. He just would come in and we would sit and we would bullshit about what's going on outside and like what the drugs are doing to our brains and give you some information. But the only reason I started attending was because my bunkie was like, he was a straight meth addict too, right? Like we're both active meth addicts, and we're in there and we're laughing and geeking out and talking about how when we get out we're gonna run this world and blah 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 blah. We're gonna get a camper and we're gonna hit the road and we're gonna make meth like Breaking Bad, right? That was our plan. And then the one day the guard comes in is like, anybody for NA or AA? And my bunkie gets up and heads to the door for NA and AA. And I'm like, you're in NA? And he's like, dude, it gets me out of the cell for an hour a week. The guy that runs the class is pretty cool, and sometimes they let you bring a book back. And I was like, I'm sold. Like that's a awesome sell for me right there. Just getting out of the cell for an hour every week and going down here and talking about drugs for a little while is the way he framed it. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I could do that. So next week I signed up to go to the NA class, and he was right. We went down there. I met this dude named Charlie who was super cool. And when you're in jail, not a lot of people are happy to see you. You know, the jailers aren't happy to see you. The judge ain't happy to see you. Some of the guys in the cell ain't happy to see you. Like nobody's happy to see you. This dude was happy to see me, and I think that was submersively, that was cool for me, you know? So anyways, I meet this guy named Charlie, and he's leading this class, and he told us his story because there was like 2 or 3 of us that were new that week, and he told us the story of like doing all these pills and getting all fucked up and drunk, and then he stole his buddy's Camaro, and when he was leaving the driveway, he frickin' gunned it and lost control and ended up flying off the side of the road down this ravine, rolled the car like 3 times, woke up in the hospital, and then, you know, from then on, he was on a different path. And something about just that this guy did all the crazy shit that I did, or in my mind at that time I was still like, nowadays I don't compare addictions because there's so many details of addictions that one person's who's worse, or, you know, whatever, it's their addictions. It's not a matter of who's in a competition to see whose addiction was worse. There are no winners, right? So but back then my mindset was like, I'm not that bad. I was still in the denial of like, I'm not that bad. Yeah, I smoke meth, but like, I'm not like bad, you know? Yeah, sure, my teeth are falling out, but whatever. Like that's because I don't brush my teeth. Like, that's not because of the drug. Like, I was so in denial, right? So hearing his story, I was like, wow, here's this guy who's worse than me, and he's doing good. Maybe I can too. Like, it just planted that seed that this guy's worse than I am, and here he is with a smile on his face, not doing drugs. Like, maybe I could do that too. So over the course of the next few weeks of me being in that course and just being in jail, and enough other shit happened too. Like, my mom came to see me in there, and there is something about my mom had never seen me in jail, and there really is something about seeing your mother through this freaking tiny little visitation window, and she sees you in that orange jumpsuit, and you see her break, you know, you see her break. Are you that meth you guy? Yeah, that's me, but I got my teeth in today, bro. Come on in and hang out with me. But yeah, there's something about seeing your mom's soul break when she sees you in jail that just changes a man. It really does. And if it doesn't, well, then maybe your mom wasn't cool. And if your mom wasn't cool, then I feel for you. I had a pretty decent upbringing. So my heart goes out to people that grew up in drug homes and things like that, for sure. I don't know if I could have made it out of that kind of stuff. But anyways, enough other shit happened while I was in that jail cell that kind of woke me up and made me realize that I needed to change something drastically. Wasn't exactly sure what that was or how it was going to play out, but I knew if I continued to head down the road I was on, I was going to be that old dude living in a trailer smoking meth with a bunch of teenagers, and I did not like that look for my life. So I was like, I got to change some shit, and I got to throw a stick in the spokes of this bicycle that is my life and crash this motherfucker, because it is heading in a path that I do not want to go down, and I ain't got no brakes, you know? So my stick that I jammed in the spokes of life was I moved 4.5 hours away from everybody I ever knew or loved. And here I am 9 years later, still rocking. So that must have worked on some levels. But after about a year of recovery, like I said, I don't want to call it stagnant time, but I wasn't really making much forward progress in my life. I was working at a factory, holding a job, doing my counseling. I think it's not so that I wasn't making progress, it's that I was bound by the system still. You know, I was still in the DOC. I was still going through probation. I was still going to a lot of court proceedings that for the shit that I picked up at the tail end of my addiction there. I had a lot of court cases and shit over the first year of my recovery that I was going back up to court and trying to deal with all this shit. And I'm so thankful that I found recovery when I did, or my ass would be in prison to this day. But I had a pretty lengthy prison sentence hanging above my head. But because of the fact that I moved away and was actually trying, when I came back to court, because I got busted with, I got busted with a stolen shotgun that I had stolen from my meth dealer. And then I used the money that I got from selling the shotgun to go buy more meth from that meth dealer. But anyways, I was a smart guy, tell you what. business. Yeah, think business. So I got busted for that. And just 2 years before that, I had picked up a meth charge, and I was on a deferred prosecution, which means they took that possession of meth and they shelved it for now. And they told me, hey, as long as you're a good boy and you don't get any more other felonies, we'll throw this away. But in 3 years, we're gonna throw this away, okay? But you could still get in a little bit of trouble. Just don't get another felony for 3 years, and we'll throw this one away. But if you get another felony, we're gonna hit you with this meth charge. And I was like, okay, I'll be a good boy. And then I stole a shotgun. That was terrible. And then I sold that shotgun to a felon. Smart people. But don't worry, they found the gun was found, and nothing terrible happened out of that. Thank God. So anyways, now here we are 2 years later, and I'm picking up a felony furnishing a firearm to a felon and felony theft, and now they're going to hit me with the possession of methamphetamine on top of it. So I originally got sentenced. I just got revoked off of my probation. I didn't get sentenced to anything yet. So the 97 days that I sat in jail, February 3rd, 2017, I was arrested. I sat in jail until May 10th, 2017. That 97 days was specifically because of my revocation. That wasn't for any of the charges that I had picked up. It's such a tangled web that we weave when we're in the system, right? Okay, so I sat those 97 days. Should have been 7 months. But because I had been arrested so many times while I was on probation and sat weekends for probation violations and sat a couple weeks here and there, when you're sitting in jail but you're not actually charged with anything, that time isn't going towards a charge. So they bank it for you. It's called time sat. So then if you ever do get in trouble, they give you that time that you sat, they take it off of your sentence because it was just neutral time where you're just in jail. So over the last year, 16 months of probation, I had racked up 4 months worth of time sat. So when I got sentenced to 7 months of jail, I only had to sit 97 days. That was kind of another slap in the face for me to realize that in the past year and a half, I have sat 4 months worth of my life has been in jail. That was kind of a slap in the face. When I went into court for my revocation and my probation officer came out and she was like, he has missed 13 visits. I was like, holy shit, wow. There were so many slaps in the face in this. And then when the judge who sentenced me, he had seen me in the past. He was like the first judge that ever saw, like, when I got like my first criminal charge, he was the first judge I sat before. And at that time, he still was like, oh, Mr. Jablonsky's a good kid. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. This poor young feller, we're going to give you a break today and let you out. And that developed this invincibility thought in my head, too, that I'm a good kid and everybody knows I'm a good kid and I'm just going to always be a good kid. And whatever I do is fine because I'm a good kid, you know. But now here we are years later. I've seen him a handful of times since then. And now we're sitting with felony charges and revocation case and all this shit. And he was like, what did he say? Mr. Jablonsky, usually in revocation cases, we like to weigh the good with the bad. But in your case, sir, there simply is no good. That hurt my heart, hearing that judge say that, like that they couldn't find a single good thing about me anymore. So anyways, sat my 97 days, right? Let's see. Sharing war stories isn't snitching. That implies you can still receive punishment. Yeah, and for a case that happened fucking years ago, bro, 9 years ago, and I got charged with it all. So you can't snitch on somebody who already got in trouble for a crime, bro. I was already fucking arrested for it, man. The crime's already done. I did my probation time. I paid the fines. I got the receipts to show you. So anyways, so now I I ended up sitting for 97 freaking days in jail, right? And in that 97 days, went to these NA courses, blah blah blah. Got out and had this message from my buddy. Moved away. And then that first year of recovery was mostly just keeping up with those court cases and shit. But here, like, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 months into recovery, and I got to go back up north. I got to go back to court for all of the felony shit that I picked up, right? The fucking felony furnishing a firearm to a felon, the felony theft, the felony possession of methamphetamine. I got to go up and face time for this shit, right? Or at least face the judge for it. So I go back up. And this time, man, I come in, I had my fucking binder, I had all of my paperwork that showed that I'd been doing my probation stuff, I had a letter from the guy at my therapist and my counselor saying that I was getting better, I was showing signs of improvement and all this stuff. I had like a whole binder of stuff that I brought with me, right? And I sat down at my table and I got all my papers out and everything, and judge gave me some time to speak, and I can't verbatim repeat what I said back then, but something about how I really wish I could tell you that the time that I picked up this meth charge was like that was my turning point, but it wasn't. I actually got worse after that. Hey, it's Lightbulb Guy. What's up, bro? Good to see you. So people are throwing me off. That's cool though. Don't. I'm not mad about it. That's cool. I'll lose my spot for a minute. Don't worry. My train of thought fucking sucks. My tracks are rickety. Train loses track all the time, dude. So anyways, I go back up, and it's the same judge that told me that he could see no good in me, right? And I'm going back up to see him, and I lay out my case and tell him, hey, I'm doing good. I moved away. I'm all this stuff, and got all my paperwork out. And he was like, Mr. Jablonsky, it is clear to me just by looking at you that I am looking at a completely different man. And he freaking threw away like everything, bro. Like, I mean, a couple of them I still got. I think I got one felony charge out of it that he couldn't reduce or something, but he reduced shit down to misdemeanors, gave me probation time for everything, like was super cool about it all, was like, could you tell me please what it was that changed you, and I told him that a big part of it was hearing you tell me that there was no good in me, so yeah, like that went freaking beautifully. I couldn't have went better. I mean, yeah, I still had to pay a whole bunch of money, and I still had to go to probation for like a year and a half, but these days that's all ancient history. Nowadays it's more worried about regular bills than all the shit I had to pay back then. Let's see. What do we got? It took jail, then moving 3,000 miles away with nothing more than $500 and no phone to stop me. Right on, bro. Right on. I have a similar story. 10 years clean. Right on, dude. Keep it up. Keep it up. Mother is the name of God on the lips and hearts of every child. Ooh, the crow. I love it, bro. I love it. Oh my God, I love your stuff. Right on, dude. Right on. More Matthew videos to come. I have more ideas yet. Don't worry. That really snowballed on me quick. I got 15 of those Matthew videos already. Thank you guys for loving them so much, because I started with one. The original idea was just, I wonder what it would be like if the old me showed up at the door and knocked at my door one day and seen seen my house and my life that I have nowadays. And I made one video about that, where Matthew arrives, and everybody loved it so much. And I was like, well, I got a couple more ideas up my sleeve for that. And now it's turned into me developing this character, and like he's got catchphrases, and I got 15 videos. Let's see. My mother-in-law used to imagine people being up 1-inch drain pipes. Oh yeah, there were people in the drains, huh? Oh wow. So I can't say names. This was a long time ago when I first started The Point of Change anyways. I started this stuff on Facebook 8 years ago. I started sharing my story. But so I'm very, very, well, not totally new here to YouTube. I did some simulcasting over here for a while, some live videos, but they didn't pick up much steam until I started making the Matthew shorts, is when you guys really started showing up. So thank you for the support and all of that. But when I first started sharing my story on Facebook, I was doing a lot more outreach and like helping individuals and stuff like that. I don't get into it as near as much anymore. Not really totally my fault. A lot of people just don't reach out anymore these days. But I did a lot more one-on-one work back then. And there was an active addict that I worked with for a little while that was, wow. Wow, out there. So did pretty good for a couple days at a time, but then would just fall right back off and go right back into paranoid delusions and stuff. So anyways, I get a call that his brother come over. He was obviously high. He's telling me he's not high, but he's like talking a million miles an hour and like talking super paranoid, like, dude's high as hell on meth, right? So his brother comes over and he doesn't know how, but he decides that his brother is somehow controlling his brain. His brother has a remote control in his book bag with him, and that remote control is somehow in his brain and controlling him. So he figures that he needs to get away from the remote control. Like, he's got to get away from that, and then it'll lose connectivity and it can't control him anymore. So he panics and he runs out of the house, leaves, goes across the street there's a bar across the street, goes in there, has to use the bathroom right away. So he goes in the bathroom and takes a leak, and then he comes back out, sits at the bar, and on the TV is Wheel of Fortune. And the next 4 letters called was ICUP. So he was calling me because his brother's control device, and not only that, but he's surveilling him and somehow sent a message to Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune to tell him that he's seen him pee when he went into the bathroom. So that's why the 4 letters ICUP came up, was because that was his brother. Dude, the shit that meth will make you believe. And all the signs are there, man. Oh, the poor souls. Twisted stuff in your head, man. So anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to come and do a little live here on YouTube. I did a live on TikTok the other day. Oh, I should let you guys know, though, if you are on TikTok, go over to TikTok, follow my account over there. At Matty Jablonsky is the same thing you would find here on this one. But here in the background, we have this board I put up. So every Tuesday morning, I go live without my top denture. We call it Toothless Tuesday. And I go live on Toothless Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central on TikTok. All the T's that I could fit into one sentence. I do this to show support for those of us who are missing teeth due to our drug addictions, or for any reason for that matter, to fight the stigma that people who are missing teeth are dumb or stupid or ugly, and to raise awareness for the damage that drugs cause to your teeth. But we found out that on TikTok Live, you can get gifts and all these things that get a little revenue coming in. So what I decided to do is any revenue that comes in on TikTok for Toothless Tuesdays, we're going to save that up until we have enough to help somebody else get their teeth fixed. And that's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. Really happy that we have some kind of a way to earn money to do that now. So yes, Toothless Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Central on TikTok. We're going to help some people smile again. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate y'all. I will catch you next time. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay clean.